You've been lied to about the California wildfires. They're obviously tragic, destructive. But the media, of course, is eager to make every tragedy a political narrative instead of just addressing it as the tragedy it is. Like I told you on yesterday's show, the media is lying to you about Breonna Taylor and what happened to her, a tragedy. They're also lying to you about the destruction of the wildfires because they feel they can leverage it for political advantage. The problem is the media, just like, you like how I tie this in? Just like in the beginning of the show, is forgetting or doesn't care what they wrote about wildfires in California just a little bit ago. Let's go to this tweet by an account called Being Libertarian. This is a great one. And I check these headlines. They're real. I always do it just to make sure I'm not being like Adobe Photoshop to death. So Being Libertarian has, I think, dude, here's the New York Times in January. Headline. It's a real headline. You can look it up yourself. California today. 100 million dead trees prompt fears of giant wildfires. That was January. So hold that up for a minute. No, just to be clear. So just to be clear, Joe, in January, the New York Times was very concerned about 100 million dead trees in California, that it could result in a wildfire.
That's
now
right.
November comes before an election. This is the same New York Times. It's not the New York Drimes or the New York Limes. It's the New York Times. Trump's misleading claims about California's fire mismanagement. So when Trump brings up that there are 100 million dead trees in California that are causing a dangerous fire condition we're seeing now, that's misleading claims. But when they write the same thing in January, they're the paper of record. Again, back to the beginning. Extinction burst. They just don't care. They don't care that people like this guy Being Libertarian on Twitter are just going to go out and find this stuff and go, you guys are morons. You just wrote about what Trump said. No, we were lying back then. No. We were lying, but we're lying. Which one of you? I don't know who we're lying. We don't really care. It's Trump. Great piece by the Washington Examiner. This is in yesterday's show notes again, but these are good articles. I need you to read this. Washington Examiner staff, don't fall for simplistic claims about wildfires and global warming. Again, the fires are happening. It's a real tragedy in live time. The media has decided to make this about Trump and global warming. They're not related. From the Examiner piece. But what exactly does any of this mean? Is it valid to look at 1 or 2 years of fire data and jump to the conclusion that these fires must be global warming wreaking havoc? By that logic, we would be forced by the rules of deductive logic to conclude that global warming took a break during the recent nadir of California wildfires, when in 2010, only 134,000 acres burned and only 228,000 acres were burned in 2011. This all seems rather silly. So just to be clear, the media lunatics' argument now, because again, they feel there's a political narrative here, that Joe, it had nothing to do with 100 million dead trees. This is definitely global warming. Whatevs. They're saying more acreage is burned this year in a long time. Wow, that's strange because just in 2010 and 2011, it actually reached a trough. So as they say in the piece, did global warming take a break, took a vacation, a long weekend? Well, what happened? Well, nothing happened. You're just making it up is what happened. Let's go to screenshot number 2, because if global warming was the culprit, Joe, what's the term before warming in global warming? This is not a trick question. Global, right? I'm just checking.
Yeah, it's global. Mm-hmm.
Is the term California warming? This just, again, I need you as a fact. Have you heard that ever?
No.
Okay,
global
you're as
warming,
confused as I am. So it's meaning it would be happening around the globe, right? Warming, globe.
Yeah, that round thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah, kind of blue from space. So that would be kind of weird how global warming was only happening in California then, right? Causing these wildfires. So the Washington Examiner looked into that and said the assertion of a causal effect between global warming and the wildfires becomes even more ridiculous when one looks beyond the isolated situation of California. On a national scale, that means the United States for the liberals, wildfire activity this year is not especially impressive at all compared to the recent past, let alone the far more fiery era prior to the modern fire suppression tactics. At roughly 4.7 million acres, the extent of this year's national burn lags the 10-year, year-to-year average by more than 20%. Unless one is to contend that global warming is only affecting 1 or 2 states and not all the other fire-prone states as well, bald assertions of causality seem misplaced. You know, folks, data and stuff, Like, in other words, if these wildfires were due to global warming, why are we not seeing it around the globe? As Joe said accurately, the blue thing, blue, little bit of brown from space. You've seen that? Why are they only happening in California, which is, according to the New York Times, mismanaged its 100 million dead trees? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because it's the 100 million dead trees and hot weather, fire, spark. I'm just throwing that out there. It's a conspiracy theory. Oh, okay. Well, take it up with the New York Times.
You just heard Dan Bongino.